Hey guys, Casey here. Welcome back to the channel guys, and welcome to another build showcase if it comes to Destiny 2. Today we managed to cook for you guys an extremely powerful ad clearing and ad controlling build for in-game content of your choosing. This build is truly synergizing itself if you want to be the king of ad control and really making sure you have the highest form of survivability for yourself and your teammates. That is literally the build you have. Why? Because you have such a fast ability of regen if it comes to your ability itself and your general form of health. It feels like you're almost immortal. You always have a constant form of devour. You're always gonna have radiant around you, and simply a ridiculously level of ad killing and an extremely powerful into close-to-close combat where you have bosses of enemies who have a tendency to do a lot of duplication of ad multiplication system around them. And as we are moving forward when it comes to Destiny in 2025, I wanted to give you guys a very powerful build, a very cool build actually, that will help you in Grandmasters or any other content that's truly designated itself and controlling the atmosphere as much as humanly possible. So how we synergize this build? We synergize around the one and only Getaway Artist itself. Now the Getaway Artist does something very unique. The Getaway Artist, the moment you consume your grenade by pressing an L1, you convert that grenade in form of an Arc Souls. That Arc Souls then becomes amplified and create like an embodied torrent itself that deals a significant form of damage in your surrounding. That truly is helpful if we're going for ad clearing and endgame contents. Besides that, we're trying to make sure that we are synergizing this extremely powerful build with two extremely useful aspects itself. And the prismatic aspect, we're using first of all the Feed the Void. Feed the Void, defeat a target with an ability to activate Devour. Thanks to this and the mods we are using and the weapons we have a constantly source of Devour. Devour is then going to help us restoring our health and of course our grenade energy at the same time. So make sure that we have an additional form of ad control because we are using Getaway Artists. We are combining this with Bleak Watcher. Bleak Watcher is the same thing. The moment you press this off with L1, you create a stasis torrents. That means with Getaway Artists, we're creating two forms of torrents on the ground. A soul torrent and a stasis torrents. So if it comes to ad clearing itself, we are really becoming the master of the battlefields moving forwards. If it comes to the ability itself, the first ability we are using, of course, is the Phoenix Dive. If it comes to endgame content and GM or whatever, I found personally the Phoenix Dive the best if it comes to survivability for yourself and of course your teammates itself. By using this, you create a burst of healing for yourself and your teammates and surrounding. For the balanced glide, we're using the normal glide. Use it with what you want to use if it comes to your Warlock for mobility. And we're using, of course, the Arcane Needle. The Arcane Needle gives us the necessary ability to use Strand. Because we're using a stand weapon in our loadout, we're also going to make sure the moment we have unraveling rounds, this is going to make sure that our weapons has a barrier champion ability to stun them. If we come in a counter and if it comes to the GM or any single thing into the game itself that requires from us to have a weapon or anything that does barrier champion stunning abilities. And of course, Arc Needle restores himself extremely fast if it comes in melee ability itself. Additional to that, we make sure that we have a Storm Grenade. Storm Grenade, of course, is going to make sure we have our light passive always activate on. And of course, it's going to make sure that we synergize itself perfectly in our way we are playing this build moving forward if it comes to our Getaway Artists. To complement every single one of these abilities, we are using, of course, the one and only first fragment. It's going to be Facet of Courage. Facet of Courage is going to increase the damage to target affected with Darkness debuff. When you have, of course, your Arc, Solar, or Void abilities active. To make sure we are using the best form of bursts if it comes to our Shattering Crystals, and of course our Bleak Watchers, we're using the Phase of Ruin itself, increases the size damage of our shattered and crystal or frozen targets. This synergizes himself, of course, with the Bleak Watcher itself. We're also using a Facet of Dominance. Your Void Grenade weakens the target and your Arc Grenades jolt the target. Because we are using, of course, this Storm Grenade itself, of course, we're gonna make benefits of the jolting ability of this fragments. Facets are done. This is going to make sure that we have always a source of radiance. Source of radiance is always going to provide that we have a 20% more damage output if it comes to our weapons. And of course, it's always going to be activated because of the speed of regen of our arcane needle. We can always going to have a source of radiance almost constantly on if we really want to. And of course, if it comes to endgame content, we're using the facet of protection. It is going to increase our resistance if it comes to endgame content around 30% if you are surrounded about any form of enemies. Because in endgame content and a lot of GMs or any other content in the game itself, it requires of you to have a high survivability because a lot of adds in your surrounding. As you can see, this facet of protection becomes extremely important. Of course, we are synergizing every single one of these things, and of course with Storm Trance. Storm Trance is our main form of super that we are using if it comes to ad clearing. But if you find yourself ever in a situation where you're going to need another form of super to damage the boss, my recommendation of course is Nova Bomb Catalysts. For our Slayer Baron mods that we are using, of course we have a grenade launcher because we're making sure that we have a way to stun overload champions if we are willing to switch to a form of a grenade launcher in any form of a content. So we always have the form of a perk on. We are also using Authorized mod to make sure that our melee ability hasn't regens himself extremely fast. We're doing the same thing with authorizing grenades. We are making sure that all our grenades comes back extremely fast. We are using Frenzy Hunger because we are making sure that we have a constant form of a Devour always active on, and of course we are survivability if it comes to endgame content. We are using the Fellow Revenant. Every single armor that we have, it is called Stalker armor. It increases our damage output against scorn. If it comes to endgame content, because in this patch scorn is going to be quite important, so we make sure we always have this mod on. Every armor we have increases our attack power against scorn around 2%. Additionally to that, we have making sure we have another form of accessibility to have Devour by making sure we have the power of pain. Every single time we have a rapid final blow weakens not only the target but also grant us and Devour. Because we're using of course the call, we have of course the Leap of Gold on. We're making sure every single time we define this keeper, every single time we're picking up a special or a heavy armor, grant us a chance to have an armor charge, and of course a heavy armor grants us a greater charge. So because we're using the call itself, we're always making sure not only that the call has a form of ammo constantly on him and going to do endgame content itself, but think to that we're trying to create a loop around it, so we make sure we always have a form of an armor charge around this, so we have always a form of an extra layer of protection when it comes to endgame contents. Besides that, we're also using Depleting Wave finishes amidst a form of a pulse in the surrounding. Based on which type of super you're using, Arc Void or Stasis, you're going to create Blind, Weakened or Slow. We're going to create constant reload. We have another form of weakening that are combatants if we are using a grenade launcher, and this is something that we do use, and a heavy slots. And of course we also have Retainable Burn, and we're making sure our arc weapon does precision hits, consume and causing armor charge to blind the targets and our surrounding as well. And another form of debuff, another form of having a blinding ability. And then last but not least, we're using our companion. Arc sources deal increased damage, and of course once again it blinds our targets moving forwards. Then we're trying to make sure we also have another form of a debuff by having an way to have access to void breaches. The moment we have and we're picking up void breaches, we are causing of course a larger form of a weakening pulse in our surrounding. Now if it comes to our armor mod itself, and if it comes to our headpiece we are using Heavy Armor Finder, Arc Siphoning and Harmonic Siphoner. Heavy Armor Finders will allow us to have a more increased chance to having heavy armor on the ground. This is going to help of course our two weapons, Leap of Gold of the call itself, and of course the Bittersweet grenade launcher if it comes to our heavy weapon itself. Arc Siphoning will allow us to create an AWP on the ground every single time we're using a Phantom Blow with an arc ability. We're trying to enhance that of course with Harmonic Siphoning, once again trying to create as much AWPs on the ground every single time we're using a Phantom Blow with the arc weapons itself. If it comes to our arm pieces, we are using, of course, with the getaway artist, we are using a grenade Kickstarter. This allows us, the moment we are picking up, of course, an armor orb of power, we can create an increase in temporary armor charge and self. If it comes to survivability and content, that becomes quite important. Additionally to that, we're using firepower and create another orbs on the ground itself every single time we have, of course, a final blow with our grenades itself. For our chest piece, we are using only the necessary resistance based on the content we are doing. Our leg piece, of course, we are using, of course, elemental charge and arc weapon search. Arc weapon search will increase the DPS output of our arc weapons around 3% every single mod that we have on, and of course it multiplies itself if you're using more than one in your slots. Because of the armor set we are using, we are using one. But if I had a better armor set, I will use a secondary one. Elemental charge is going to allow us to have another form of an armor charge every single time we are picking up, collecting fire braces, iconic traces, any single breach, whatever, and we are collecting itself. This is going to make sure we have an armor charge active. And of course, we slotting it with our mark. Our mark, we're using Reaper. For a short duration of time using a class ability. Our next final blows will make sure we have an orb of power. We are making sure that with all the different orbs of power we are creating on the ground itself, we are making sure we have an easier uptime and collecting them by using the powerful attraction itself, that will automatically making sure that all the orbs of power come towards us, so we don't physically have to go towards them itself. Just a matter of a quality life improvements if it comes to our general playthrough into the game itself. And of course, we're reducing our cooldown of our grenades itself every single time we're using a class ability, thanks to Bomber itself. Now, if it comes to the stats where you need to allocate yourself, the three main stats still available if it comes to this form of a patch, because the stats itself, if it comes to armors and general, will be changed how you proceed moving forward if it comes to where you need to allocate itself. But at this point right now, you need to focus yourself, of course, in resilience, recovery, and discipline. Resilience, a maximum of 100%. Once you have that, you have a decrease, of course, and 30% of resistance across the board if it comes to endgame contents. Recovery is extremely important if it comes to a Warlock. Why? Because of recovery, make sure that our class ability cooldown is reduced significantly. If it comes to a Warlock, recovery is this is where our pool of class ability truly synergizes himself the best. And discipline is, of course, to make sure that our grenade cooldown comes as low as possible as well. So we try to make sure that these three stats are as high as possible. If you can get yourself a triple stat 100, go for it, because this is really going to help you if it comes to endgame content into the game itself. Beside all of that, this of course marks the end of this build showcase. Any additional questions you may have, you can always reach me on my Discord page and in the comments down below, or any other video or during my live streams I do on Twitch itself. So thank you very much for chilling with me right now. If it comes to another build showcase, if it comes to Destiny itself, more are coming. As you know, I'm gonna be the very last Vanguard still on the server itself. So if you want to enjoy the journey with me moving forward until the full shutdown of Destiny itself, you're definitely on the right page. Once again, merci beaucoup pour m'écouter infiniment, and I hope I can see you all on the next one, the next tip and trick, let's play, gameplay walkthrough. We're trying to do it in abundance with this newest channel of ours itself. And I'm your host, Casey itself. Thank you very much for chilling with me, and I hope I can see you guys on the next one. As we are proceeding moving forward, if it comes to as a new content creator of Destiny itself, I am very young if it comes to Destiny. So bear with me as I get better and better if it comes to making new builds, new off-meta, off-thinking builds that are extremely powerful if it comes to endgame contents, that we will make sure that we are making Destiny great again, and most importantly, we are making Destiny fun again to play. That is the main goal, to truly make sure that the gamers itself have the same form of fun again if it comes to enjoying Destiny. That is the goal of making these fun builds and out-of-the-box sticking builds. If you do appreciate all of that, give me a thumbs up, give me your thoughts on the comments down below, give me a rating on the video itself, because it helped me tremendously a lot if it comes to navigating the YouTube algorithm. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe yourself. Hope we can see you next time. It would be unfortunate if you miss out on the next contents. See you guys next time, man. One love. One love only, man. Peace.